welcome to another episode of Calling You Out Sports. I'm Martin Sakon with your Monday edition of Calling You Out Sports. Jason will be on Wednesday, Thursday, depending on when we post this. So let's talk about some NFL scores here from Sunday. I brought in my cousin to help me out with this. My cousin is going to talk about some of the exactly why, what happened to these teams. So how are you doing, cousin Marvin?
How you doing there, Martin Sakon? How you doing there, bud? Martin, I'm glad to have me on the show. I've been asking you for a while now. Okay, anyway, let me see what I can do about my telling you about why these teams lost in the game. You like my glasses? They don't have any kind of fancy dangle lenses in them. They just make me look real smart.
Good to hear it. Glad to hear that you're doing well. Okay, let's talk about this first game. The Panthers 20, the Falcons 28. Exactly what happened with this game, Marvin? Why did the Falcons win?
Okay, I got all my papers right over here to tell you exactly why certain teams won the way that they did. Now, you're asking me, why did the Falcons win big? Let me tell you exactly why the Falcons won big right here. Matt Ryan looked absolutely comfortable in that pocket of his. Those linemen have been giving him all the time in the world, just like they did last year, and they did it again this year. So Matt Ryan had a lot more time in the pocket to work with what he wanted to work with. And then, Matt Ryan also threw three pass touchdowns in just the first. He threw three touchdown passes in just the first quarter alone, which was an all-career high for him right there. So the Falcons have just been doing so great here. And Jake Delhomme on the Panthers side, Jake Delhomme looked good. He looked okay, but he still had problems with throwing the ball. He's not he's still trying to force the ball into his receivers, and I don't understand that. I just don't see Jake Delhomme doing that well this year. So good heads up, but that's exactly why the Falcons won. They had a good line protection. Matt Ryan had all day to throw, and he just has great receivers to throw to, and that's exactly why the Falcons won.
Let's talk about, okay, that sounds great. Let's talk about this game. The Vikings 27, the Lions 13. Now, the Vikings have been on a great roll lately. Marvin, talk about this with us.
Well, let me tell you something, Marty. This is exactly what the problem is. The Vikings versus the Lions. Vikings are a great team. Or should I just say that they're just a great team because they have Brett Farve on their team? Because we all know he can wing that ball out there and he got a good throw every now and then. So anyway, like I was saying, the Vikings, we all know they're a great team. Now they're at 2-0. The defensive line looked great for the Vikings. I have to tell you that in my notes here. I definitely liked how much pressure that the defensive line was putting on the Lions right there. So that's one key to why they won the game. And then another one was that the defense is not afraid of Farve's arm. Here's the thing. Favre's arm is not why teams are letting the Vikings beat them. It's Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson has gotten a lot better at running the ball. Favre, I'm looking at these defenses here, and yeah, they're trying to protect the pass a little bit more, but they're still afraid of Adrian Peterson's running game. Adrian Peterson has just gotten a lot better this year. They're not afraid of Favre's arm. They're just, Adrian Peterson's just got a lot better. So when people say Favre is a big threat, Favre's not a big threat. It's Adrian Peterson that I can really see that's done great. And that's exactly why the Vikings are 2-0 this year.
This next game, the Bengals 31, the Packers 24. What is going on with the Packers, Marvin?
Well, I can tell you exactly what's going wrong with the Packers. This is exactly what's wrong with the Packers. Shoot, in my notes right over here. Carson Palmer looked like the old Carson Palmer finally. Carson Palmer, he threw a few interceptions and a few, bad balls over there, but they still were able to get the point. So Carson Palmer is finally starting to look like the old Carson Palmer that he used to be. Another thing is that the Bengals are starting to bring it all together. They're starting to get their, offense working and their defense on both sides, despite their bad coach and Marvin Lewis. Can't believe he has the name Marvin. My name's Marvin. How could he have that name Marvin? I'm a good guy. Anyway, here's what's wrong with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers is holding on to the ball too long. He's not getting the ball out to his receivers fast enough. So he's holding it. Defensive pressure's coming. Next thing you know, he's got no one to throw to. Or he's just throwing it away. Or he's throwing interceptions. So the Packers need to get that timing on with their receivers. And there is no excuse for why Aaron Rodgers can't get that timing on with his receivers. Now, I don't know what else is wrong with the Packers. That's the only thing that I can see that the problem is. I mean, sure, they don't have the greatest coach in Mike McCarthy, but, the Packers shouldn't be as bad as they are.
This next game right here, Cardinals 31, Jaguars 17. Give your take on it, Marvin.
The Jacksonville Jaguars, let's see. Okay, my notes basically tell me Kurt Warner absolutely looked great today. He had some great passes. He looked like the Kurt Warner that led the Cardinals to the Super Bowl before those Steelers stole it away from him right there. Okay? And now, Kurt Warner also, if you had not seen the game, had 15 consecutive passes in a row. That sets a new NFL record. Not a new NFL record, franchise record, ties a franchise record. And as for the Jaguars, they look absolutely sloppy. I love Jack Del Rio. Don't get me wrong. Jack Del Rio's a good guy, but they look absolutely sloppy. The defense looked awful. Everything looked awful. The offense it looked like they hadn't practiced all week. Now, Gerard was sacked 4 times to finish off the sloppy offense and the sloppy defense. So what does that say to you? The Jacksonville Jaguars are just not getting it together, and I just feel bad for Jack Del Rio because I know he's a good coach.
The Saints 48, Eagles 22. Tough loss for the Eagles, right?
Okay. Of course it was a tough loss for the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a team that has been declared another playoff, maybe even a Super Bowl team now that they have the weapons there for Donovan McNabb. But, oops, Donovan McNabb was not in the backfield yesterday throwing those throws. It was Kevin Corn on the Kolb. Yeah, Kevin Corn on the Kolb. Yeah, I can't put that with myself right there. Anyway, Kevin Kolb. I don't like Kevin Kolb. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I don't think that he's the future of the Philadelphia Eagles. I definitely don't think that he has, what it takes to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, let alone the Philadelphia Eagles. But here is a big reason why the Saints were able to keep the Eagles down on the offense right here. Their defense brought a blitz package that we have rarely seen from the Saints. The Saints, yeah, they do obviously have a few blitzes here and there, but we finally saw a real blitz package from the Saints versus the Eagles. And of course, Kevin Kolb, being the bad quarterback that he is and making his own the first NFL start, was not able to handle the blitz package, and he went down and threw several interceptions. I think that the stat was like 27 completions out of 51 attempts. You have to throw the ball 51 times. You only get it 27 times. You know that you're doing something wrong right there. So here's my advice to the Philadelphia Eagles. Of course, before I go on Philadelphia Eagles, Drew Brees was also phenomenal. Drew Brees did a great job. He is just on fire this year. So anyone who has him in fantasy, kudos to you right there.